I saw a car go off the road, hit me on the passenger side. Like all the airbags went off. Did a 180, immediately felt safe.
We're about ready to go. Just waiting on a woman. She had to get ice for her cup, so we're waiting on her. Now that we got Sean back in the truck, we're ready to go. We got Cooper and Bentley. You guys ready? So we've been waiting for months. Communication with Joe. He's in North Carolina. We're in Kansas. He found us on the YouTube channel, contacted us, and today's the day to go get his truck. Nearly all of the 26 charging stops on this trip are going to be Tesla adapter stops.
26.
Yeah, that's there and back, and that includes 2 hotel stays. But yeah, it's a lot.
Road trip.
It's a big road trip, and to say you can't tow cross country with a Lightning, hang on, hold my beer. We're gonna do it. It's 140 miles to the first one, 81 miles to the second one, 118 miles to the third one. Shows we're gonna have 15% when we get to Lowell, Arkansas. That's our first stop.
3:45. Let's roll.
I'm kind of hoping for 1.5 mile per kilowatt hour on the way down, and I'm hoping for 1.1 to 1.2 on the way back. Everybody knows that the Tesla stops are going to work, and most everybody knows what the truck's going to do for performance. I'm hoping that we can find that the Tesla stops are easier for trailer parking than your typical Electrify America charge point, yada, yada, yada. Our first stop, Lowell, Arkansas. So I'm not sure how to go about this without unhooking the trailer. Should I just block it? Block this whole, I can't block this whole lane. We're gonna block 2 chargers, but that's just how it's gotta go. I can't get around that. Actually, we're probably gonna block 3 chargers. Tesla side pins are 119. I mean, the outside of the case is showing 93. Really doing pretty good. Okay, we were there about 28 minutes. We got 60 kilowatts. It went about 10 minutes at 165, and then it dropped off to 120, 110. So it wasn't probably as fast as an Electrify America stop. All in all, it's a good stop. We'll end up using a lot more of that. I like that. So we're at the Bestwestern. We got here about 10:30 last night, pulled in to plug in, and the charger wouldn't work. You had to download an app. I've never stayed at a hotel that you had to pay to charge for one, but then for it not to work, we only got 40%. There's a Tesla Model Y sitting in one not charging, just taking up the space. Just because it says EV only on the sign doesn't mean you can be a just pull in and park, not plugging your car in. You're not an EV if you're not charging. Those spaces are for charging vehicles. If you're driving an EV and you pull into an EV rated spot, charge your car, or don't, and move. There was plenty of places here he could have parked. So the Tesla charger plugs right in. Yep, and then you just get in the app, start the charge. 1A, start charging, and that's all there is to it, and it'll do the rest. Okay, let's see. Okay, that was a good stop. We did a 98% charge. Our next run is 156 miles. At the moment, the truck's estimating that to be 183, and I think that'll be close. We download this weather and radar app on Android Auto. It comes up and shows you your wind and the direction. We're headed southeast, so it's kind of across from us, but help push us a little bit. So that is helping get us to 1.5. It's saying we have 8 miles of range, but yet there's a charger here that's Tesla, which isn't in the network. And if you look down there, there's another Francis Energy or something. So, Ford, can you explain this? I don't think that's accurate.
300 feet, turn left, then arrive at 6910 Bucee Boulevard. Arriving at 6910 Bucee Boulevard, on the left.
I'm here with Joe. He's got his Lightning here. We made it 1,400 mile trip to kind of see if we can get you out of a bind. So if you don't mind, tell us whatever you feel comfortable with on the story, kind of what happened, how the accident went down, and give us a little bit of background. Tell us what you think. What happened here?
So, I mean, it was on September 11th. It was great day.
9/11. That's a terrible day.
Yeah, a Monday, and I was cruising down the road having a good time. I love this truck, and I was, making a turn, and I saw a car go off the road, hit me on the passenger side, going pretty fast. Did a 180, and almost hit it there's like a brick wall to the entrance, and
so they ran into you. Obviously, you didn't run into them.
Right. And then, when it happened, like all the airbags went off, and like I immediately felt safe. And, but then I kind of came to and crawled out, and then looked at the damage and was like,
kind of stick to your stomach at that point.
Yeah, I was like, it's terrible.
So you didn't physically get hurt in the accident?
No.
Okay.
And it did what it was supposed to do, and it was like calling 911, and they were there rather quickly, and
Okay.
I was okay. It did its job and kept me safe.
So how long was it before the ambulance or whatever was there to check people out?
They were there, I'd say, within 15 minutes, and then the state trooper was there probably 30 minutes.
And then a little later, they got the wrecker and had to tote it off. I saw some pictures because it wouldn't move on its own power.
No.
It's not happy right now.
It is not.
I think the best thing we can do is from here, it's not happy right now. We want to make it happy again. So we're going to put your 12-volt battery back in, hook the scanner up to it, find out what codes it has. It obviously is going to have airbag codes. We can see that. Right. But there's a reason why it won't move. And so we're going to try to see if we can get the truck under its own power. It's not going to be happy wanting to move with that. I know that, but it's a four-wheel drive, so you got 3 other wheels that can pull. I'd like to be able to see if we can pull it out and drive it up on the trailer. That's going to give us a whole lot of confidence the truck's not having battery issues or module issues or a major fuse blown or something somewhere. There is a fusible link inside the battery that disconnects if something major happens, but I've been through 2 of these. Both my 22 and the 23 I'm building on the channel were wrecked this bad or worse, and neither one of those had that fuse bad. So that'll mean you don't have to go inside the battery.
Nice.
So that's a good thing.
Right.
But I also want to check your battery cell health, because it's been sitting since September.
Correct.
And we want to see the state of charge, and we'll look at all those cells to make sure we know that we don't have a battery issue.
Okay.
So I know you've replaced the 12-volt battery. It went bad on you.
Yep.
So we got to do one of those, and as you said, it's charged up, so that should be able to go back in and kind of see what we're going to do. So. All right. Sounds good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I'm ready to get back home. We can get started on it. So.
He had an F-150, a brand new one, back in 2011. And he bought it. He was active duty then. And we got one of our twins received the diagnosis that he has autism, and he has some pretty significant intellectual challenges. And our insurance didn't cover it because he was in the Marine Corps, and he sold his truck to pay for his therapies. So this is the only new truck he's had since then.
Yeah, and it's not that old, and now it gets wrecked, and then it's whole fiasco.
And he ruined it. Well, he waited for it for over a year. He ordered it. He picked out everything, and so it's pretty crazy. So, well, we met when we were really young, like 8th grade, but when we were in high school, he wanted to go to college, and then when September 11th happened, which is why it's so crazy that this happened on September 11th. He said, I have to go active duty. I have to join the Marine Corps. I have to go serve. And he was shipped over to Iraq on the Kearsarge. He was there for shock and awe. Like, he was one of the first troop deployments to Iraq after that happened.
Were you married at that time?
No. But we had our oldest son was 3 then, because it was 2002. And he got a call on New Year's
So you were
Eve.
a family for sure.
Well, it's funny because he was my best friend. We've been best friends since we were kids, and then he's raised my son like his own son, my oldest son, but that's the only, so But then he came back, and he was deployed. And less than a year later, he went to Africa. It was supposed to be a peacekeeping mission. It was not. And then after that, he had to go back to Iraq sometime later. It was 2005, I believe. And then he was a combat instructor at Camp Lejeune. And then he went back into the fleet, because as infantry, that's what you do. You go into the fleet and you deploy and you fight in a war when there's war happening. And he went to Afghanistan, and he was it was when our twins were 6 weeks old. And he was in a horrible place. He was in the Helmand province, and they lost a ton of Marines in that deployment, like a ton. And
I can imagine you were scared to death.
Well, yeah, because we don't get calls for 2 and 3 days, because they shut down all communication when there's a killed in action, and because they don't want the family to find out from somebody other than the chain of command. So when there's radio silence for longer than 2 days,
that somebody's gone.
Somebody's been killed, but you don't know who it is. So then he called, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, you have a heart attack every single day. But at that time, I had 4 kids at the house, and the twins were just babies. And he came back when they were probably 10 months old, in January. And then he deployed again that same November, and I was 8 months pregnant with our youngest daughter. And he went back to Afghanistan. It was another horrible deployment. And she was born December, and they were able to Skype. He was able to Skype while I had her. And he was out in the middle of literally nowhere. He was training the Afghan National Army at that time. And the same situation, right? Like, tons of loss and casualty. And he's highly decorated. Like, he would never tell anybody that, but he's done a lot and served our country very honorably, and was in for 15 years. And now he's 100% permanently and totally disabled, but he still tries to work because he's so proud. And he tries to do jobs that he probably shouldn't be doing. That is not good for his things. He has a broken vertebrae in his back from one of the deployments. He's completely deaf in one ear and almost completely in the other ear. He's supposed to wear hearing aids, but he doesn't. Rotator cuff, like the whole thing. So it's a lot. But yeah, and for several years after the final deployment, it seemed like once a month there was, a Marine lost to suicide, and, one of his Marines. So anyway, but yeah, so his first truck was an F-150, and he was so proud, so incredibly proud. The first time we ever, we had nothing, right? Like 5 kids who were so broke. And we saved up so much money, and he got an F-150, and then had it for just a couple of years. And then once our son was diagnosed, and we found out that his treatment was going to cost about $25,000, and we didn't have that. He sold it for cash so that he could pay for that. And then he never had anything new after that until this. And so it means a lot. And then obviously my dad having a hand in it.
That's why it's going to take me, I said, 3 to 6 months, because that's my day job.
Did I hear you say your dad passed away recently?
So my dad just passed away
so I take this crap out and I try to break it.
February 11th. And we moved him down here to live with us. And he was a father to him. Literally, because we've known each other for so long. Like, he calls my mom, and called my dad. Since we were kids, he's known them. So yeah, but my dad was in Ohio. He worked at a Ford dealership, and so we went through him to order the truck, and we drove up there in June of 2022 to pick it up on his birthday, on his 40th birthday. So, but yeah, and then my dad
they're rated. I didn't.
Right after the accident happened, my dad
I'm gonna keep it for 2 or 3 years and then sell it to somebody.
lived alone in Ohio, and I could tell something was going on with him, and I flew up there just to see like what was going on, and he had lost a considerable amount of weight. And so I made him go to the doctor, and they found a large tumor in his esophagus. And within 4 months was dead. So we moved him down here with us, and then he passed away. So yep. He's like, what would your dad say? I was like, my dad would say, fix a truck.
So your dad is still a strong.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even in decision making.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I was like, yeah, you would say fix the truck. He called my older brother earlier. Because still going back and forth, like he's afraid he's going to take something away from the family by having this fixed. And
you fly in, just bring it with you. Don't forget.
I was like, if I had to sell my vehicle, like we're not in that position, but even if I had to, so that he could have this back, like
I like that.
he deserves it. So
I think you're going to be happy.
I think he's really glad that it moved by itself. He was worried.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you guys.
So we're here at the Electrify America in Oxford, Mississippi, and as you can see, charger number 2, 350 is completely down. You'd plug this plug in and it would sit there for probably 20 or 30 seconds. This other plug, I think I figured out the problem with it. Torque screw right here by my thumb, it's not all the way screwed in. And so it wouldn't click on the Lightning. I ended up moving over to the 150, which immediately took right off and gave me 151 and held that for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then it tapered back off to normals. I've been running between 65 and 80. At 80 miles an hour, the truck's getting 0.7 mile per kilowatt hour. At 65, we're doing right at 1. The truck's sitting over here all by its lonesome out here in the back, so it's looking a little sad. But it'll look better soon. Joe, if you're watching, just relax. Okay, so we're stopping at a Tesla Supercharger in Toad Suck Park. That's what the sign said. That is not on the NACS adapter approved site. We're in Conway. We're going to give it a shot. It's a 250, which not all 250s are open. We know that Tesla has not approved all of them. However, I heard through the grapevine on either some forums or one of the chats that I'm on that a guy tried one and it worked. I thought, let's just whip in there and see what happens. Okay, so we've tried this a few times here. It's saying that it's charging station fault and it won't. Something's wrong. Like it's worth a try. We plugged in, it didn't work. We'll get out of here. Okay, that didn't work. I didn't think it would, but you got to try. For the guys out there who said, oh yeah, some of them still work, the Conway, Arkansas one, verified, does not work. We are on the very last stop of a very, very long trip. I mean, it's been a long drive. Not something I want to do every day, but obviously the Lightning's perfectly capable. It's like 11 o'clock at night, so we're gonna be home right around midnight. I started Wednesday about 4 o'clock. It's Sunday 11 o'clock to get this beautiful truck. Not so beautiful when you get over here on the other side. This is why we're involved. Maybe I can do one of those. You just go, and it's fixed. Nope, that's only for the movies. Thanks for sticking with us through the trip. There'll be a lot more information on the truck coming up. Thanks for all the Facebook comments for those of you that watched online. Appreciate the support, and we'll talk to y'all later.